All right, welcome to the Mind Body Alignment and Subconscious Recoding Masterclass and Workshop. So I'm going to be sharing my screen right now. And let's go. Okay, perfect. I know there might be some people joining in later, but thank you everyone for being here today. And I'm just going to get started because there's a lot in this masterclass, and I really want to get through as much as I can within a reasonable time frame. We might be going over time, hopefully not, but if you do have to hop off before the end, totally get that. But I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of what to expect today. So I really want this to be an integration, not just me talking at you. And of course, if you guys want to put in the chat, you want to participate, please don't hesitate. So a little bit about me. I'm Laurence, if you haven't met me already. I know there's some familiar faces here. I'm originally a holistic nutritionist, health coach, life coach, NLP practitioner, hypnotherapist. And how I came into this work was really through health struggles at the beginning. I had PCOS, missing periods, cystic acne every single day, anxiety, hair loss, depression, fatigue, always bloating, zero confidence, feeling lost, stuck, unfulfilled in my life, chasing fixes all the time, really just having this burnout that was resulting from not putting myself first, chasing fulfillment in jobs and things like that. And so eventually I came to a rock bottom point where the conventional system did not help me. In fact, it failed me. And at one point, I just felt defeated. I felt shamed. I felt broken because there were really no answers being given. I was doing everything right, quote unquote, but I was still having all of these symptoms and feeling terrible. And I looked like a healthy, fit person, apart from my cystic acne, but I was really not healthy. I was feeling terrible and I was having all these symptoms and no one could help me. So I stumbled across nutrition, and this was the opening to my healing journey. Finally decided to start pursuing this. And this is where I started to look at food and how it affected me and my physical health and all of these things, and how I thought I was being healthy, but I really wasn't. And this actually led me to going down different paths and finally deciding to pursue nutrition professionally. And at the same time, I also decided to finally let go of a past toxic relationship I'd been pursuing for years. And all of a sudden, when I started to take aligned action and it was uncomfortable, things started to come in, things started to flow. And I started to really feel like I was walking the path that I was meant to walk on. And it wasn't like this fighting, forcing anymore. Because I know what it feels like to force, push, and feel like you're giving it 110% and you're getting back like 10%. And you're just exhausted and you're like, nothing's working. I don't get it. This is when you're working against yourself, and what we're going to be talking about today. So that was like a huge thing for me to start to look at what was in alignment with me and what was not. This actually also led me, though, to discovering that it was more than just the food, the supplements, the exercise, because I developed binge eating and emotional eating and orthorexia. And so I really started to have to look internally and do deeper work versus just what I'm eating, because I was jumping from fix to fix and not really slowing down and looking at what was actually going on. I thought symptoms meant that there was something wrong with me versus they were actually messengers that were unique to my imbalances and where I was not in alignment and things like that. And so ultimately, I was chasing worthiness and love and never really kept a job for more than 2 years at a time. I was still trying to fix these symptoms. I was really anxious and falling into workaholism and lack of intimacy in my relationships, fear of being seen, needing approval. All of these things were really starting to show up front, like in my face, when I started to do the inner work and realizing that my internal world was really creating my external world. And so this is where I started to see all these things show up in my physical health, my relationships, the repeating circumstances, and with jobs and money and all of these things. And so for me, I started to find not just nutrition and all of that wonderful world that is important for healing, but I started to dig deeper into inner child healing. And I started with mindset. And then I started to see there's actually emotions here that are very important. They get in the way of our thoughts if we don't process them, and human design and shadow work and communication, especially in my relationships, and feminine, masculine energies. And all of these things were really fascinating to me. And I started to apply them and integrate them. And so ultimately, what was this chasing and fixing turned into really looking at the root cause of what was going on for me. And that's how I continue to operate today as things come up for me. And so this is what we're going to be going into today, the deeper inner healing work, and that is really creating our reality. So the overview of today, we're going to start with trauma. I know it's not a light topic, but I really do want to address this because it is a really important topic. The mind-body connection, the conscious and subconscious minds. Why does change seem so hard? The comfort zone. We're going to be doing an NLP exercise to help you release fear that might be in the way of what you really want to step into. How we experience reality. We're going to be shifting a problem into an opportunity. So looking at reframing and different perspectives. The law of cause and effect. What is your point of attraction? When resistance comes up. Why most affirmations don't work. Uncovering your subconscious beliefs. We're going to be doing an EFT or tapping session on a belief that you're currently holding. How you create a breakthrough. And then we're going to be ending with a breath work and visualization session, which I'm really excited about. And I'll be inviting you, if you are wanting to go deeper with me, showing you how you can do that. And if not, then that will be completing this class. So I'm going to be getting started because we do have a lot today. And yeah, let's just dive into it. So what is trauma? Trauma is really energy stuck in the body. And there's a lot of different definitions that I'm going to be sharing today that I really like, because a lot of the time we think that trauma is this big traumatic event that is, specifically like maybe abuse or things like that, which is trauma. But then there's other traumas as well. And we all have trauma. And I also want to kind of make it not this huge thing that is just so scary that we don't want to look at, because it's actually, it's really different things that can really put you out of alignment. So I'm going to share a few definitions that I found that I really do like. So it's a situation where an individual felt endangered or neglected enough for their body to respond in such a way that it felt overwhelmed. Trauma is anything that causes us to disconnect from ourselves, our sense of value, and from the present moment. That's Gabor Mate. Trauma is not only about what has happened to you, but also about not feeling safe to be who you are, to express or being left alone in your distress and fearing abandonment. Trauma is any circumstance or perception that causes you to lose connection with your lovability, your value, and your right place in the world. So that's Karen Curry Parker. And so these are some definitions that I really like, because they're really putting us out of alignment and disconnecting us. That is really what trauma is. And so we can have big T trauma or little t trauma. It can come from experiences in childhood around rejection, fear, being unseen, feeling unloved, etc., not getting our needs met, but also in adulthood concerning events like financial scarcity or breakups, or loss of a job, or loss of a loved one, illness, moving, etc. These are all traumatic experiences. And so when it comes to the mind, trauma, and health, only 7 to 8% of what happens to us is based on our genes. 95% of the population is born with healthy, non-defective genes. Only 5% of the population have a defect in their genes. And so this is where just blaming our genes is not empowering. It's less about our genes and more about the factors that influence which genes turn on. And so the science of epigenetics demonstrates that trauma creates biological change, which can last for generations, unless we break the cycle. And this is the work that we're doing here. So trauma can affect our DNA, our stress response, our hormones, our nervous system, our immune systems. And so your physical body really is a direct reflection of the inner self, the inner state. And so this is why we're looking at the deeper internal world and not just the physical stuff. So the most frequent causes of illness are negative attitudes and emotions, guilt, shame, even the need for attention or the need to escape an unpleasant situation or emotion. And these are all subconscious. And so if you think negatively, destructively, and viciously, these thoughts can generate destructive emotions, low vibrational emotions, and they must be expressed and find an outlet, because everything is energy. And so these emotions, being of a negative nature, low vibrational, can be expressed like things like ulcers, heart troubles, gut issues, tension, anxiety, pain, inflammation, etc. And so one of Dr. Bruce Lipton's quote, which I really like and explains this on a scientific level, is the blood's chemistry is largely impacted by the chemicals emitted from your brain. Chemistry adjusts the composition of the blood based upon your perception of life. So this means that your perception of any given thing at any given moment can influence the brain chemistry, which can affect the environment where your cells reside and control their fate. So your thoughts and perceptions have a direct and overwhelmingly significant effect on cells. And so this is confirming the point of view that your mind can and does contribute to both the cause and healing of whatever ails you. And so nothing appears on your body except when there is a mental equivalent first in your mind. So there's always a mental component. And this is why most people stay stuck, because they believe they need to try harder, do more, find another strategy. I see this with so many women trying more diets, workout supplements, without addressing their internal world, their nervous system, their mind, their beliefs, their emotions. And so it's not just about health. Your internal world also affects every part of your life. So what happens when we only focus on changing what's outside of ourselves? We revert to old patterns and behaviors. We fall off the wagon, we sabotage, we procrastinate. We don't really create sustainable change. And so this could look like changing your job, but having the same money issues or the same boss, the same kind of personality of a boss. Maybe it's breaking up with someone, but then choosing another person with the same toxic traits. It might be trying all of the supplements and diets, but not really getting anywhere, are not following a healthy lifestyle long enough, so you fall off the wagon, are still experiencing unexplainable symptoms that just don't seem to be resolved, because it's inside that's attracting and it's creating. So changing your external circumstances isn't a long-term strategy. It's changing the internal world, because otherwise what's internal just keeps attracting and repeating the same things externally. So we need to look at both. So what is actually creating a reality is in our subconscious, it's in the body, it's in our nervous system. And this is what happens when your subconscious mind and your conscious mind are in misalignment. So what we want to do is bring them in alignment, which is what we're going to be working on today. So the conscious and subconscious minds. According to cognitive neuroscientists, we're conscious of only about 5% of our cognitive activity. Most of our decisions, actions, emotions, and behavior depends on the 95% of brain activity that goes beyond our conscious awareness, also known as the subconscious. So it's about 95% of our thoughts, emotions, behaviors happen without our conscious awareness. And so the subconscious mind is responsible for 95% of our life. This is where we store everything that has ever happened to us, our beliefs, our values, our identity. It acts as a filter for our reality. So it's like the glasses that we're looking out into the world, and we're experiencing the world through those filters. And so the subconscious is also the part of the brain that's responsible for healing in the body. It controls all the vital processes of the body, and it contains a blueprint of your body in perfect health, which is the normal state of being. It also holds the repressed memories and beliefs, the shadow aspects of self, to whatever extent it needs. Unfortunately, though, if those memories and aspects of self are not processed and reintegrated, they can remain locked in the body and express themselves as symptoms and tensions and start to dictate our decisions and influence what we attract into our lives, because they're subconscious. And as we mentioned, 95% of reality is created from our subconscious. So when we look at the subconscious mind, most of what is programmed in our subconscious comes from the ages of between 0 and 9, and it's attached to significant and emotional events. 85% of our neural pathways are developed between 0 and 9 years old. And so the function of the subconscious mind is to store and retrieve data. Its job is to ensure that you respond exactly the way you're programmed. Your subconscious mind makes everything you say and do fit a consistent pattern. And so your mind works like a corporation with millions of workers. Your conscious mind is the CEO. Its job is to make decisions and instruct the workers. The subconscious mind is like the workers. It's responding and taking the orders. And so the subconscious mind can't reason, it just accepts. If you tell it you're lazy, you're not good enough, you're a procrastinator, or maybe you're wealthy, or you're beautiful, or you're unloved, or you're unwanted, or you're successful, etc., your mind does not care if what you say is good or bad, if it's healthy or unhealthy, if it's helpful or unhelpful. It will take it as truth because it's responding to you. And so your subconscious will never make you a liar. It won't contradict your identity with what you want. So for example, if you're somebody who wants to become wealthy, but you believe that wealthy people are greedy, your subconscious won't allow that, because you aren't greedy. So it's going to be like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't fit your identity, right? So there's so many examples like this, but essentially if your identity is contradicting what you want, then the subconscious can self-sabotage that. So if you say whatever, you are lazy, you're motivated, you are whatever, it will take your word for it. And so your brain's job is to listen to what you tell it and hold on to it as truth, because your mind is responding to you. You are really in command. And so this is really something important to know, because what we're repeating to ourselves all day actually is very important and influential to the subconscious mind. And so when it comes to the conscious and the subconscious mind, the conscious mind has the will and the subconscious mind has the power. So when the conscious mind and the subconscious mind are in harmony, you have willpower. You're single-minded, you're working together. When they're in conflict, there is no willpower. You are double-minded. You are basically separated. And so your conscious mind cannot directly overpower your subconscious mind and will it to do something. So for example, if you're repeating all day these affirmations, like trying to change myself and I'm whatever, you're just repeating these affirmations, I'm probably willing to bet that it hasn't really felt believable and hasn't really worked for you. And we're going to talk about this later. But this is an example where we're just trying to will ourselves into something or willpower away, and then we self-sabotage, we fall off, right? And so when will and imagination are in conflict, imagination always wins. We're going to talk about this. Imagination is it's the communication tool of the subconscious mind. And we're going to talk about how we can communicate effectively with our subconscious mind later. So when they're in conflict, the subconscious mind will win because it has the power and it's bigger. And so when we're in conflict, there's like this push and pull, there's this tension. Your mind and body are in disagreement because the subconscious lives in the body. And so this is where white knuckling and willpowering your way doesn't work against the subconscious mind. Because self-sabotage is going to happen where your subconscious mind is protecting you. It's, again, creating your world according to who you say you are, keeping you within your program, your conditioning, and your comfort zone. And so if they don't work together, the results can be harmful. They can be poor health, seeking destructive relationships, inappropriate behavior, poor eating habits, temper outbursts, etc. So we want to learn how to communicate with the subconscious mind and use it to our advantage. So the subconscious mind is not logical. Telling yourself that you really want something that is like outside your comfort zone and it's safe to have it doesn't mean much to the subconscious, who operates in images and feelings. And it has beliefs a lot of the time contradicting what you say you want. So you need to know how to communicate with this part of you, which we're going to talk about. So we can change the program, which is awesome. We don't have to be like, oh, great, I have these beliefs and these programs that are in opposition. That means I'm screwed. No, you can change the program using things like repetition, but also hypnosis and NLP. Brief overview of NLP. Neuro-linguistic programming is a coaching modality I use inside my practice that works with the conscious and subconscious mind to shift the way you think, speak, and act to align with what you actually desire for your highest good. So this can help you to overcome negative thought patterns and behaviors, release negative emotions, keeping you stuck, and instead help you to achieve your goals while living more fulfilled and happy. And so NLP is how we use the basic language of our mind to consistently achieve the results we want in life. And so it uses the subconscious and the conscious mind. So it can be used to help program the mind for better habits, shift perceptions and beliefs, change behaviors, heal wounds or traumas, improve communication, internal self-talk, respond consciously to an environment instead of reacting, reducing triggers, and so much more. So when we're talking about change, if we want to change our life, and if you're here, I'm guessing there's at least one aspect of your life that you want to change. So if we want our life to change in some aspect, our health, or who we're being, whatever, we can't keep doing, thinking, and saying the same things. We have to change. So this is where change can seem really, really hard. Like, oh, why is change so hard? Every time I try to change, right? We make up these stories about how it's so hard, but it's actually not so hard. We associate change to pain and discomfort. It's the stories that we're creating around change that make it harder than it actually is. And so when we associate negative images, sounds, and feelings to a change we want to make in our lives, our state mirrors that, and it seems harder there than it actually might be. So our entire physiology changes by the mental image that we have in our mind. And this makes it easier to self-sabotage, procrastinate, give up, etc. So most of the time we project pain, discomfort, and even failure into the future. We can use words like, what if I fail? It probably won't work. This is a long shot. What's the point? It never works out for me, etc. And this is what anxiety is. It's projecting failure into our future, and that's where our focus goes. And so the body can't tell the difference between real and imagined. And so it's in a constant state of fight or flight, associating the scary future hypothesis that often never actually occurs, yet we're living as if it's actually already in our bodies over and over again. And so, on the contrary, when you associate positive images, sounds, and feelings with the change that you want to create, you create a peak positive state and things will seem easier and more achievable. And so, by associating to the pleasure of the outcome rather than the pain or discomfort of the action, we can actually move toward pleasure and completion. And so this is what NLP can help you do. We can create peak states and associate positive mental images and feelings to what we want to do and accomplish. And so this helps us to actually move forward and be pulled towards our goals and desires by our conscious and subconscious minds both working together. So you get to decide if you're going to project negativity or positivity into your future. And you get to decide what you want to think, how you want to act, and how you want to feel. And so this is what taking your power back is, and stepping into the co-creator of your life, not the victim. And we're going to be doing an exercise that is an NLP visualization to help you tap into what I'm literally talking about here. So when we talk about change, we can't not talk about the comfort zone. We all create our own internal prison called the comfort zone. So within it is everything that's in your life. Everything familiar equals safe. Anything new is unfamiliar and threatening. And this is your automatic programming. This is meant to keep you safe. So everything that you want in your life that you don't yet have is outside of your comfort zone. So while trying to better our lives, we will have to go through a mandatory step, which is going against a lifetime of behaviors, stories, emotions, beliefs, but then also rules and value systems of current peer groups and society. And so as you go through this work, as you up level, as you shed parts of yourself that are not you, that are limiting, that are old versions of yourself, that are not serving you anymore, it will feel uncomfortable and it might even make you feel worse at first. It's kind of like when you go through a detox. And this is where people get stuck. They believe that because there is resistance, there is obstacles, there might be feelings of misalignment or uncomfortable feelings. It means it's wrong, that they're doing something wrong and it's not meant for them. And so this is where we have to be careful and be aware of resistance, because your ego will desperately try to keep you in the comfort zone. It will do everything in its power to deter you. It can come up with the most clever excuses, might even make you physically sick or throw obstacles in your path. And so the ego prefers the known, even if it sucks, because that's safe. So the unknown of a better life is a threat. So it literally means death to the ego because it's death to the known. So to live a truly fulfilled life, you have to learn how to step outside your comfort zone. And this means embracing fear and uncertainty. It's not about, oh, there's fear there, I guess it means I'm not supposed to go there. No, that usually means we need to lean in. And so the thing is, the ego loves the comfort zone. It can seem easier to stay there. And this is actually a recipe for being unhappy and unfulfilled. Because at the core of us, our souls are here to evolve and grow. And so when we aren't growing, we're stagnant. We can feel stuck. We can even feel depressed. So we need growth to have fulfillment, purpose, and happiness. Because if we stay in the comfort zone, life actually becomes more dull and it can even become harder. And with this graphic here, it kind of illustrates that as our quality of life actually diminishes when we stay in our comfort zone. When we actually do the hard things, quote unquote, now we make life less hard later. So that might be healthy habits or investing in yourself or getting outside of your comfort zone, doing the messy, scary action. When we avoid the hard things now, then we make life so much harder for ourselves in the long run. And so fear doesn't mean that you're going the wrong way. Can you learn to walk with fear? It's often your compass to where you're meant to go. And obviously, this is important to differentiate between this is fear because I get outside my comfort zone versus this is fear because it's actually dangerous, right? Obviously, they're very different. So oftentimes nervousness can be mistaken as excitement because it's literally the same physical reaction in the body. So how could this be exciting instead of scary? So I'm going to be walking you through an exercise. If you're driving, I don't recommend tapping into this exercise now. You can always come back to the recording later. But what I want you to do is, I want you to think of something that you'd like to do, but you keep holding yourself back from fear. When you think about this, do you have an image in your mind? When you think about this, do you feel a sensation in your body? So I want you to tap into that. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? So now I want you to just clear the screen, wipe the image from your mind, shake out your body. And now I want you to think about, how do you want to feel instead in this situation? So when you have that answer, I want you to close your eyes and just feel into any place in your body that you feel this feeling that you want to feel. Could be in your heart, could be in your gut, could be in your head, could be anywhere. Is there any place in your body that you can feel and tap into this feeling? How does it feel to tap into this feeling? How do you know when you're feeling this way? Can you describe the sensations? How does it feel in your body? What does it make you want to do? What's it like being in your body when you have this feeling? And if you have a hard time tapping into this feeling now, can you remember a time in the past when you felt this feeling and really get into that memory, associate to that memory, and feel into as if you're there right now, feeling what you felt. And as you feel into this state or emotion, I want you to expand it inside of you, doubling it, tripling it, and revisit now the image of what you want to experience. So feeling this new emotion, I want you revisiting this memory or this image that you do want to accomplish, but you're holding yourself back. So let the feeling rise and rise and rise and expand inside of your body. And as you're feeling this feeling, walking into that experience, into that image. And what's that like? How do you feel now? What are the thoughts present now? Bringing this version of you and these feelings, this state of being, and visiting that experience as this current version of you who feels this new way. How does it feel now when you get to show up as this version of you with this state? And now I want you to zoom into the future to this event that you want to experience as this version of you feeling this way. How is it different now? Now I want you to come back to now, to the present moment. Open your eyes, shake it off, and just feel into, how does it feel now to think about that thing that you want to do? What's different now? Are there thoughts that are different? Are there feelings that are different? Is it any different for you? Yeah, it feels less scary. I love it. So this is just a quick exercise to show you how associating yourself to a resource state like that and visiting an image can be so powerful, because it's the images and the feelings that we're having in our bodies that are really influencing our subconscious mind, and if we're going to take action or not. So that's a super powerful exercise that you can use when you feel like there's something that you really want to do, but there's resistance in the way. So that's also an experience to help showcase how NLP and working with the subconscious mind can help you to shift your state of being and to move forward toward what you want. And so I think it's really important to address how we experience reality in terms of the subconscious mind. So this is a graphic that kind of depicts what I'm going to talk about here. But the brain receives roughly 20 million bits of information every second. So this is a rough estimate. There are different numbers out there, but it's a lot. So it would blow a fuse if it tried to process that. So our subconscious mind filters through all of that to bring what is relevant to the conscious mind. It will sort through reality based on your beliefs, values, identity. And so the conscious mind receives about 2,000 bits of information every second. So your unique reality represents only about 0.006% of what's really going on in the world. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of example of this in play. For instance, there is an external event, you go on a date, and the guy or girl doesn't contact you, even though you thought it went well. So you distort, delete, generalize this information due to memories, decisions, metaprograms, beliefs, values, attitudes, identities, that kind of thing. And you attach a meaning onto it now. So you're looking through your glasses at this external event, and you decide, I'm unwanted, I'm unlovable, I don't deserve love, there's no one out there for me. So the mental state might be you're hurt, you're upset, you're embarrassed, you're sad, you're angry. From this mental state and this meaning, the physiology might look like slumped over, shallow, breathing, sweating, tense, contracted, closed off, maybe even crying. And so the behavior comes from all of those meanings and attachments and the physiology. Maybe it looks like they stop dating, they reject others, they isolate, they badmouth women or men, if there's no good men or women out there, or whatever. And the result is they stay single. And so we reconfirm the belief that I'm unlovable and I'm unwanted because no one wants me, I'm single. So you can see how the external event, we look at it and we create a meaning, creates a state, behavior, and results. And so really what happens is we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. So who you perceive yourself to be, how you relate to the world, what you believe about yourself in the world is a mirror. So anything we perceive is a projection from our subconscious mind. So ultimately your self-image is the filter. So it's really important to understand, what are you telling your mind to focus on? I'm going to talk about the RAS here, the reticular activating system, which is a small part of the brain with a big job. It's the gatekeeper of information that is let into the conscious mind. So it acts as a filter for our five senses. And so the mind, as we talked about, constantly processes about 20 million bits of information per second. Thanks to the RAS, we're able to consciously process a fraction of that. So the RAS makes it possible to shape one's reality by focusing on things that are important. So what gets through the RAS? Only the stuff that's important to you. So for instance, I'm sure you've had an experience of like, you're looking for a car, a specific car, and then you're like, or maybe you buy a car and you see it everywhere. You're like, everyone has this car now. So same thing, like you weren't looking for it before. Or you're looking for a dog, a specific dog you want to adopt or buy this specific breed of dog. And then you're like, everyone has this breed of dog. You're literally telling your RAS what is important to you, what you're looking for. And then all of a sudden, it's everywhere in your reality. So when you work with your subconscious mind, it can help you to reveal the people, information, opportunities that help you to move closer to your desires and goals. But usually we tend to focus on the negative. And then we see more of that and reinforce beliefs based on that, just like the experience or the example that I shared before. So the question is, what are you focusing on? What are you telling the RAS is important? Is it limiting or expanding you? Is it serving you? And a lot of the time, if we just focus on our internal dialogue on a daily basis, this is a great indication of what you're telling your subconscious mind. So what this means is reality is actually subjective. It's not objective, because we all look at the world through our glasses, right? And so if reality is subjective, that means it can change. So we live in a subjective reality. The things and events in the world around us have no meaning themselves. Things have meaning because we attach meaning to them. So we can change the meaning of nearly anything at the unconscious level using things like reframing, aka seeing things differently, seeing a different perspective. So an example would be, in this image, it looks like, safe to say, very inappropriate behavior going on here. A man pushing a lady down, and she seems like she is hurt because of him. But then when we take a step back, a different angle, actually, he's saving her. He pushed her out of the way because there were bricks that were falling. And so this is an example when we take a step back, we take a different approach, we view things from a different angle, they appear differently. So there's an exercise that I want to give you. And I want you to think about the questions I'm going to ask you and think about the first thing that pops into your mind. If you want to write this down, if you want to think about it in your head, whatever works for you. So what is the problem that you're currently facing? How do you know that it's a problem? What are you making that mean about you? How does that make you feel? Whether it's hurt, angry, sad, whatever. When you think about this problem, if there was a friend who was telling you this problem, what would you tell a friend about this scenario? Like, how would you basically counsel them? Okay, now I want you to visualize the problem as a problem, like seeing this problem as a problem in your head, like it's a problem. Now I want you to view it as a challenge. What if this problem was a challenge? Now I want you to view it as an opportunity. What opportunity may be available here for you? What if this problem was an opportunity? What if it was opening up an opportunity for you? How is it different now? Is it any different now? Yeah, less intimidating. It can be seeming like a huge mountaintop of a problem, and then we see it as an opportunity. Oh, what actually could be the opportunity here? Because the purpose of a challenge is to grow you bigger than the challenge. Obstacles may be a tool for growth or learning or even redirection. Like, actually, there's a different way to do it. There's something else for you. So when we talk about changing, the law of cause and effect is really important to understand. So your present results are a result of your past thoughts and actions. Makes sense, right? Your present circumstance are based off of your past self, thoughts, actions, and beliefs. And so most of these are a result from our subconscious programming, belief systems, aka our autopilot. So where you are now is the sum total of all of your conscious and unconscious decisions that brought you to this moment. And so the law of cause and effect states that every effect has a specific and predictable cause. Every cause or action has a specific and predictable effect. So this means that everything that we currently have in our lives is an effect that is a result of a specific cause. So we're living either at the effect side or the cause side of our life. You can choose to be at the cause of your personal universe, or you can choose to live at the effect of the people, circumstances that surround you. So if there's an area of your life that is not working out for you, it's likely you're being at the effect of something or someone else. So am I resenting others for where I am? That's being at effect. Am I taking responsibility for my life? That's being at cause. So for instance, using the word I can't is being at effect. Using the word I choose, I will, I won't is being at cause. So when you're at the cause side of your life, you're seeing results. When you're at the effect, this is where we see reasons and excuses for not having the result. So how am I at cause for this is one of the most powerful questions you can ask to take back control of your life. And FYI, this isn't about blame, this is about empowerment, because when we take 100% responsibility, even when external things and people are involved, we take 100% of our power back. This is the opposite of victim mode. We can't control all of life's events, of course, but we can control our perspective, our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, how we react. So most people try to change their external reality by trying to change the external reality. This is the least effective way to do it. Change your inner reality, and your external reality has no other choice but to change. So, of course, we need to talk about energy, because if we just talk about mindset, we're missing a huge part of healing, manifestation, growth, results. So when we talk about your energetic set point, everything is energy and everything is responding to your energy. We don't attract what we want. We attract what we believe on the deepest subconscious level. We attract what we are. We attract what our nervous system feels safe to receive. And this is what we will default to. So if you think about your energetic state, what is your emotional home, your energetic set point? Where do you spend most of your time? Maybe it's doubting, second guessing, stressing, complaining, worrying about the future. Maybe it's at the frequency of everything is missing. I see everything that's not right with my reality, everything that's not here. I'm failing. The world is scary. So again, it's like the glasses we're looking out. So you might be attracting from lack, from scarcity, from fear. And the thing is, lack attracts lack. We're on the same frequency of lack, so that's what we're going to receive. Or might you be on the frequency of everything is here? There are so many opportunities. Who knows what's going to happen? Life is so exciting. The universe is supporting me. Are you present versus in your head with the looping thoughts of stressing over the future? And so we're not being present. We can't be here to receive if we are in the loops. We are in our internal dreamland versus in the present reality. Are you open? We're going to talk about being open to receive later. So where do you think that you live? Where are you attracting from? And it's really important to just be honest and not shame ourselves, just being curious and looking at creating more self-awareness within ourselves. So what might you putting out there? What is the match to that? So seeing what you're receiving, what you're creating your reality, that's going to be a match to what you're putting out, what you're vibrating at. And so you receive back more of that frequency. So what are you moving towards? Do you know where you're going? This is a really important thing to know. This is where I start with all my clients, because a lot of the time we don't even think that's important because we don't even believe that we can have what we want. Are you just focused on what you don't want? Because most of the time we're actually thinking about not having what we want, all the reasons why we don't have what we want, why it's not coming in, etc. So if you don't get clear on what you want, you will end up being like a boat at sea with no clear direction. You can just end up anywhere. So number one is deciding what you want, even if it's just a feeling to begin with. Like I want to feel free, joyful, happy, at peace, whatever. Start there. And so when we look at motivation, there's really two different kinds: away motivation and towards motivation. Away motivation is when we're trying to get away from something. It's temporary. It's focusing on what you don't want, pushing away from what you don't want. I'm so sick of this. I don't want this anymore. So the motivation tends to be strong only when you're close to what you don't want. Like the pain is so apparent and maybe strong. And it works until you hit a point, then it goes away. Because once you get a comfortable distance from what you want to get away from, you lose that motivation because there's no pain sticking you in the butt anymore, right? So no clarity, poking you in the butt, sorry. No clarity where you don't have clarity where you're going because your focus is on just getting away from something. Like I want to get away from this thing. You're getting away from it. Okay, well, I got away from it. And so we can also default to old behaviors and getting back into the same habits and patterns that we want to get away from because we're not moving towards anything. So we're just kind of like falling back. Versus towards motivation is moving towards something. It's more lasting, it's more long-term, it's future-oriented and connected to your aspirational identity. And so the closer you get to what you want to move towards, the motivation gets stronger. And then obviously we're always building on top of that. So there is a very different energetic difference between I need to get there to get away from this thing so that I can feel better and finally be good enough versus I'm on my way there. It's all here right now. It's all coming. I'm excited. I'm enjoying this journey. I'm enjoying this process. I'm creating this. And you're actually enjoying the process and the journey of becoming the person who can create what you want. And you're like really excited about this journey. And it's like going on a trip. Like I'm really excited about going on this trip. So instead of being like, so a lot of the time we're looking at like, I'm trying to get there. So looking at like going on a trip, like I'm going to try to go on this trip. No, you just go on this trip. Or I'm going to try to build a sandcastle. No, you're just building the sandcastle. So instead of this like efforting, like this, oh, I feel so hard. Or even for instance, like when you were in third grade and now you're in fourth grade. It's just like, well, I'm in fourth grade now. That's it. It's not like this huge big deal of like, I'm trying to get there. And it's like, no, I'm there now. So this is the energetic difference of like, we're trying to get there. We're like efforting and it's so difficult and it's so complicated versus like, I'm doing this thing and I'm building it and it just is. And so what momentum have you been keeping up? What gas have you been fueling your car with? Because we want to look at the energy and the focus that you are focusing on. So how much energy and focus have you been putting on it not working, or your limitations, or your fear? Are you making decisions from the place and the person you want to be? Or are you focusing on current circumstances presently? Like, oh, this just means that I'm always going to be this way or whatever. So we want to look at that and look at what am I moving towards and what am I focusing on? We're going to be doing a visualization to help you anchor in what you do want. But first, it's really important to clear out what might be in the way. And so we talked about being open to receive. So I want to dive into this a little bit more. Are you actually open to receiving what you want, or just the idea of it? Like, oh, yeah, that sounds nice. I would love to have that. Most of us actually don't even fathom that what we want is possible. And we repel what we want. We're not even in the receiving mode. We're actually focused on getting there instead of being here. And the thing is, the manifestations are here. So you miss the receiving, because the present moment is the only thing that exists and the only place where we receive things. So we can be focused on trying to always be good enough to have something, but the core belief is that we are not good enough. So it doesn't matter what we do. We could even miss what the universe is trying to give us, like right now, because we're so focused on getting there and being good enough and doing all the things and whatever. So what if it came to you right now? What would come up for you? I think that's really important to tap into. Like, if I did receive what I wanted, what would come up for me? Would you be able to receive it, manage it, hold it? Are you open to it? It's kind of like having a closet that's full of clothes. You can't put one more thing in there and you're just like, I want new clothes, but there's no space for the clothes. Or a new car. The garage is full. There's no space to put the car. So is the spot available, or is it already taken? And a lot of the time it's already taken by thoughts, beliefs, emotions that are contradicting what we want. So we want to clear that out so that there's room for the new to come in. So it's also really important to look at, how do you react to receiving? How easy it for you to receive? Because what I'm witnessing a lot, and I've definitely seen this in myself, is we are leaning into the masculine energy of like doing versus the feminine, which is receiving, and we're completely disconnected from the feminine. And this is the feminine energy, is the receiving energy. And so even just tapping into how do you receive a compliment or a gift? A lot of the time we say things like, oh, you shouldn't have, someone else deserves it more than me. I don't deserve this. I can't accept this. This is too much. I have to earn this. And this is how we're operating. We're just like, no, I don't want that thing. That's our energy rejecting it. So it's like you're saying this to the universe. This is what your energy is telling it. So how are you receiving in your life now? If you can't receive the little things, you won't receive the big things. So we want to look at, how can I just even receive the little pleasures and gifts in my life on a daily basis? Because if something isn't coming into your field, it's not unavailable to you, you're unavailable to it. Everything that you desire is in your field. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in your heart. It wouldn't be given to you. It's in your energetic field waiting to come in, like it's literally here. But it's your energy, your vibration, your actions that bring it into your reality. So if you're repelling it and you're contradicting it, then it's not going to come in. So we'll be diving more into this later to better determine if you're a match to your desires or if your own way. And we're going to be getting into resistance, because that's a big thing that is a big block, quote unquote, to getting what you want. So resistance in the way. Why might a part of you not want what you want? This is most often subconscious and not even in our awareness unless we investigate. Maybe you say you want to start your own business, but you keep procrastinating because you saw your dad go bankrupt in his business, or you saw that your mom she was successful in her business, but she was always working. She was never home. So maybe your subconscious mind registered that if you have a business, you won't have a love life, you won't have time to live your life, or you might lose everything. Maybe you believe that if you lost weight or you got healthy, you would be the odd one out in your family because everyone else is unhealthy and overweight and eats fast food, and your subconscious mind doesn't want to be rejected. Sometimes even weight gain can protect us from being seen in the public eye, being more noticeable, attracting partners. Many women actually may fear losing weight subconsciously in order to protect themselves from men or attention from men if they have wounding around men in the masculine. Maybe you want more money, but money was always the cause of fights in your house. So you associated money with fights and loss of love. So maybe your subconscious doesn't believe that you can have both. This is an example or examples of incongruent operating systems. The mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs or thoughts. They cancel each other out. So the conscious mind is the goal setter. The subconscious is the goal getter. Like we talked about, the CEO telling you instructions to the subconscious mind is creating. So this means that as long as you have those unconscious blocks, they can get in the way of what you consciously want because they don't match up, and your subconscious mind is more powerful and creates 95% of reality. So the first step, as we talked about, is deciding what you want. Then tapping into how does that feel? If there's any resistance to what you want, that means you have an unconscious block in the way. Maybe there's thoughts that come up, there's a contraction that comes up when you think about what you want. One note I want to say is please don't make this a huge problem and make a big emphasis on it. Don't give your power away to it. Bring curiosity. Like, I wonder what part of me doesn't want XYZ or doesn't feel safe having this. Now you get to create a new thought, a new belief, a new story. And we're going to talk about this later. My lesson with this was when I started to learn about this conscious mind's influence and everything, I was like, oh my God, I have all these programs that oppose what I want. So it's good. It's going to be so hard to change this. And my subconscious is so powerful. So like, I guess I can't, it's just going to take so much work and everything. And so the ego can trick you into thinking it has to be so complicated to have what you want, that you have to be 100% healed and have no trauma and always feel good, etc. And this is complete BS. You don't even have to believe the opposite. You have to let go of what's in the way, and then you can open up to receive. So it doesn't have to be so complicated, but our mind can actually make it more complicated than it is. And that's really the ego that's coming in to be like, no, comfort zone, let's stay there. So this is just something to be aware of. So beliefs, whatever you think repeatedly in your mind becomes a belief and lives in your subconscious mind. So we're going to look at identifying your limiting beliefs. If you have a pen and paper, great, take that out. If you don't, think about these and you can come back to it later with a recording if you want. But I'd love for you to notice the areas that you tend to struggle in your life or challenging patterns that keep coming up for you. Just noticing what are the thoughts and beliefs that you have about this area of your life and your ability to succeed in this area. So start with one area of your life that you tend to struggle in. What are the thoughts and beliefs about this area? So if it's like money, what are your thoughts and beliefs about money? If it's about being fit, what are your thoughts and beliefs about that? If it's relationship or love, what are your beliefs around that? What are the feelings that come up when you think about that area of your life, even about those thoughts and beliefs? And then what did you learn growing up about this area or topic? Maybe you were taught certain beliefs like money doesn't grow on trees, or maybe you saw that, your parents were constantly fighting in their relationship, or there was violent communication. So there could be so many different areas of your life, like maybe it's healthy eating. Maybe that wasn't demonstrated. Just looking at the area and what did you learn either hearing or seeing about this area in your life? Need to work hard to make money, whatever. Now I want you to notice areas that you don't tend to struggle in your life or worry about. You're just like, I never really think about that. That's just always works out for me. What are the thoughts and beliefs you have about this area? Your ability to succeed in this area? Like, oh, it's easy. I don't think about it. It's not a big deal. Like whatever it is. And what are the feelings that come up when you think about that area? Or even the thoughts and beliefs? And then I want you to think about, what did you learn growing up about this area or topic? Maybe you saw something, or you didn't see something, or you learned something about the situation. Again, could be in money, relationships, health, success, career. And notice now how much of an effort it feels for the first one. Does it feel like it's harder? Like you need to try harder, but also notice your frequency and your beliefs around these two areas. How are they different? Just notice how they're different. Oftentimes, we don't allow what we truly want because we have these ideas of what it will require of us that feel either unsafe, icky, not in alignment with our values, or some of these are all of the above. And it isn't until we shift these that we can experience a deeper ease with what we want. And so you can see here when there's areas that we struggle with, a lot of the time we're putting so much effort into it. We're constantly thinking about it. It's just like this trying energy. And then obviously you want to look at the thoughts and beliefs and the energy and what you learned about it growing up versus the opposite, what you don't really tend to worry about. It's like, what are the thoughts and beliefs there? What is the energetic state there? How is it different? So does the desire feel good? Does it feel safe? Does it feel solid? And does being the person who operates at this level, who has this, also feel good, safe, and solid? Because it's not just about having the thing, it's about being the person who has the thing. So this is a really interesting and powerful journaling exercise. I highly recommend doing it a little bit deeper when you have a bit of time, because this can really help you to see like, what are the areas that I struggle in and I don't, and how might I actually be creating that, co-creating that. So the thing is, most of our thoughts are lies. How can you tell how they make you feel? Contraction in your body, that will be a sign of a lie. Our feelings are the truth. They're always true to how we're feeling. Like a feeling is never a lie. Yet they are often created in reaction to lies. So we think a thought that isn't true, we believe the thought, and then we feel angry, sad, resentment, guilty, whatever. Then we judge the feeling. So we add on emotions, also known as compounding. And so this can over time even turn into anxiety, depression, even create our own personalities. Like, this is the way I am, this is the way I've always been. And it all can start from a thought. And it's just suppressed and repeated, and the emotions are also suppressed. And so it's not the thought that's the problem, it's the energetic charge of it. It's choosing to believe the thought, it's giving it power. And so these beliefs can keep you from showing up in your authenticity, which is magnetic. You're literally attracting things to you, or following your intuition, which is your path of least resistance to what you want. And this can also make you take action in misalignment. So these thoughts are usually typically very loud. You've been feeding them, giving them authority, giving them power, allowing them to call the shots. And so this is where it can be like, it's so hard to think a different thought. Like, it just keep going back to that thought because it has a pathway that's been reinforced over and over and over again. So before we go on, before you start beating yourself up for thinking thoughts that don't serve you, or trying to bury them with affirmations like, I can't think this thought, I can't think this thought. First of all, forgive yourself and ask yourself, who was I being? How was I thinking? How was I feeling when I decided to believe this? Because who knew when you decided to believe that thought, and what circumstance, what was happening, what you were seeing, what you thought the world was, etc. But now I want you to think about, is this the absolute truth? And do you want to believe this? Those are the key questions to ask yourself now, because yes, a belief could have been true in the past and you could have made it true and you could see so much proof of it. But the thing is, as I mentioned, these thoughts are lies and they can feel true, but they're not actually the truth, because again, we're looking through our glasses. So is this the absolute truth? Is there another truth that's available? Do I want to believe this? That is the number one thing, because we can believe anything and create our reality based on that. So do I want to keep believing this thought? Secondary gain. So it's kind of like resistance, where we want to change, but then it's like, we're not changing. We just keep doing the same thing. We're just like, what's wrong with me? So this is where secondary gain comes in. There is a benefit you get from the problem, which is greater than the desire to release the problem. So even if you follow the sentence and you complete the sentence, actually, I don't really want blank, 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 because see what comes up for you. And even if you just free write, even if you take like 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you write down whatever comes, like the whole page, what comes up for you, just go for it and see. You might discover things that you weren't aware of, where you're like, oh, actually, I'm keeping myself from having that thing, accomplishing that thing, being that person, because I have a fear that this will happen. I think that this might happen, or this might not happen, whatever. So examples could be, you might want to lose weight, but you were told growing up to not be skinny, otherwise you'd be taken advantage of by men. You might want to make more money, yet you fear you will be judged, criticized, attacked by others. You might want to move away from home, yet a part of you fears being on your own and independent, or maybe doesn't believe that you can be independent. A tip that you can take is look to where you might be judging others that have what you want and notice what your thoughts are about that. So, for instance, if you're judging others for having so much freedom in their life, like they're always traveling, and it's like that's actually what you want, but you have this jealousy because you believe that you can't have it. Or people who have a lot of money and they're, having the kind of lifestyle that you want. And then you're just having these thoughts about like greed and, oh, they're lucky or they got lucky. And this can actually show you like, if I'm judging that person for having that, then I might actually fear being judged for that. So, for instance, if I was in that position, then I might fear being judged and attacked, like I'm actually judging that person. So, this can be a really helpful kind of mirror tool to see like where might you actually be blocking yourself from what you actually want. So you're probably wondering, how do we change these programs? Because I'm noticing I'm having some thoughts that are not really serving me. So the first thing I want to talk about is why affirmations don't work, most of them. Because a lot of the time we are just focusing on, and we've even been taught or told, you need to think positive all the time. If you have negative thought or emotion, you got to get rid of it right away because you're attracting based on your thoughts and feelings. And so this is where we can actually get really stuck. Because that's just denial and you're just suppressing what's actually inside of you, and that's what you're creating. So we don't just want to bypass, we actually want to feel our emotions, get real, and then we want to choose again. But processing it is really important part of it. So we don't want to ignore what's actually the truth for us. So with affirmations, most of them don't work because we are focusing on the end result and creating a gap between where we are now and where we want to be. And so it creates a separation between you and the thing. It's like this contraction energy. And so what's really the most important is it's the energy that the words evoke, not specifically the words, it's the energy that they're evoking within you. So we don't want to shoot for the opposite of it right away. Like I'm broke to I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm overweight to I'm skinny. I'm single and heartbroken to I'm married. Like this can be a big jump. And our internal system is just like BS that no, I don't believe it, right? So most of the times this creates more separation and lack by paying attention to the gap. And so the energy is everything in your words. Don't just take a phrase that someone else is saying and repeat it. How does it feel to you? This is really, really important. So some examples would be, I want, I hope, I wish is lack, like we talked about. And some alternatives is I'm in the process of building. I'm in the process of creating. I'm learning how. I am moving towards. I am loving the idea of. These can all feel really true because it's like I am in the process of that. I am learning how. It's not like I have this thing, the end. Because a lot of the time we look at we're on the spectrum of no, it's not happening to probably not gonna happen to maybe to probably to yes. It's like this chain of reaction. So we're moving through towards having the belief of I am this person. Because when we start to see the proof in our reality, then we can start to believe those other beliefs. But when we're in the process of that, we haven't experienced it yet, we don't want to jump to the end result because our mind's is going to reject that. So we want to use words like I'm learning how, I'm moving towards, I'm loving the idea of, whatever works for you. These are just some examples because this is going to be much more effective. So I want to do a little bit of tapping with you because this is a really powerful technique to help you shift a belief. So EFT, emotional freedom technique, is a therapy loosely based on acupuncture and acupressure. Uses the same basic energy meridians in the body to eliminate physical, emotional, mental imbalances. And so according to EFT, the cause of all negative emotions is a disruption of the body's energy system. So our negative emotions, if not processed, but rather suppressed or repressed, can stay stuck within our bodies and cause imbalances. So to balance this system, all we have to do is tune into the energy of the problem and then balance that disruption by tapping on the energy meridians. So I want you to think about what is a limiting belief that is maybe emotionally charged for you right now, or it's coming up repeatedly for you right now. Just one thought or belief. And you might have discovered it today. You might have discovered it during the journaling today. Just any belief that you find is coming up for you and it's keeping you stuck. Now I want you to think about this belief, maybe write it down, and think about how intense does this belief feel? How true does this belief feel on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being, no, it doesn't feel true at all. 10 being, it feels really true and real present in my life. If you want to share it in the chat, you can do that. Scale of 1 to 10. Okay, we got an 8. I'm going to guide you through the tapping in just a moment. Whenever you have that belief and that scale, 7 and an 8. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to show you kind of what I'm going to guide you through. We're going to start with the inner eyebrow, outer eyebrow, under the eye, under the nose, chin, under the collarbone, under the arm, and top of the head. You can do both hands or one, up to you. And so I'm going to lead you though with the opening sentence, which is just the karate chop of the hand. And I definitely recommend saying it out loud if you can, otherwise in your head. And just repeating after me, even though I believe this thought, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I believe this thought, I choose to honor myself anyway. Even though I believe this thought, I choose to accept myself right now. Taking a deep breath in. If you want to close your eyes, if that feels better for you, you can also do that. We're going to start tapping on the inner eyebrow. And when I say this belief, just replace it with your belief. If I leave sort of the sentence open, just fill in the sentence with whatever it is that comes up for you. So this belief, outer eyebrow, this thought that I'm having, under the eye, this belief is making me feel, under the nose, I'm believing this thought and it's making me feel, chin, I'm willing to witness everything this brings up for me. Under the collarbone, it's okay for me to allow this feeling that's coming up. Under the arm, I honor the feeling that is coming up for me right now. Top of the head, it's okay for me to feel this feeling. We're going to continue the next round. I wonder why I believe this thought. Outer eyebrow, this thought, how might it be serving me? Under the eye, how might it have served me in the past? Under the nose, maybe it protected me. Under the chin, maybe it kept me safe. Under the collarbone, maybe it kept me accepted. Under the arm, can I have compassion for the version of me who created this thought, who had this feeling, who didn't feel accepted, whatever it is that comes up for you? Top of the head, can I hold a space of forgiveness for this version of me who created this belief, who didn't feel safe, who didn't feel accepted? Inner eyebrow, thank you, past version of me. Thank you, belief. Thank you, thought, for keeping me safe, whatever it did for you. Outer eyebrow, I don't have to believe everything I think. Under the eye, I'm thinking of believing something different. Under the nose, I'm clearing all beliefs that are not mine and that I don't want to believe anymore. Chin, what if I decided that? What do you want to decide now? Collarbone, I wonder what it would be like if I let go of this thought. Under the arm, what if I didn't believe this anymore? top of the head. I wonder if I could choose to believe another thought. Inner eyebrow. Can I? Outer eyebrow. By when? When will I believe another thought? When will I choose another thought? Under the eye. Can I do it now? Under the nose. What does that feel like? Chin. It's okay for me to open up to. Maybe it's a new thought, a new belief, a new feeling. Collarbone. I wonder what would happen if I opened up. Under the arm. If I allowed, if I opened. Top of the head. Instead of closing and contracting. Now I want you to just tap on the heart space and repeat after me. It's safe for me to let this thought go and choose another one. I am deciding that. What are you deciding now? It's totally possible that. What are you deciding now? That's possible. It feels good to decide that. What are you deciding now? I like thinking that I am co-creating my reality. It feels good to step into the co-creator of my reality. Okay, deep breath in. Now I want you to tap into your body and just think about this thought. And now I want you to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. How charged or true does it feel now between 1 and 10? Got a 3. Beautiful. That's a big difference. You see, this is where 3 as well. And so this is where you could continue tapping until it goes down to a 0, but that is a big jump from just a few minutes of tapping. So you can see that this really opens you up to new possibilities because of it's almost like this energetic constipation going on. So we're just letting the energy flow through. So what is present now for you? What is available from this space? Are there new opportunities, or like, does it feel different now? What is not here? Maybe there are thoughts that are not here anymore, that like the worst case scenario thoughts, or it's not possible for me. So really nothing changed. It's just your thoughts and the emotions attached to those thoughts that change. And so if you wanted to continue, obviously you could keep going until 0, but this is like a huge dump already from 7 to 3. And just showing you that it's really our energy around the thoughts that is what's keeping us stuck. So when it comes to creating a breakthrough, this is just before we're going to be doing visualization. I want to tap into creating a breakthrough because I want to really tap into this because I think it's something that's misunderstood a lot. So 3 factors influence your behaviors and feelings. They determine the meaning behind our experience of life. The first one is physiology. So this is the way you use your body. It's the fastest way to change your mental and emotional state. I'm sure you've experienced that before. Mental focus. Focus is feeling, and it equals the reality to us. Whatever you choose to focus on, you get. We talked about focus. Language, the phrases we say to ourselves, how we describe ourselves, the words we use, and they obviously have this energetic charge to them, like we talked about. So any emotions you're feeling or problems you're having, you need to change the way you do these 3 things. So creating a breakthrough, how we do that is we change our state and our story and our strategy. So when you look at state, this is state of mind, your mental and emotional state, your physiology. When you look at story, your story is your belief. It's a story you explain to yourself over and over again, explaining why your life is the way it is, or you might be explaining it to others too. And then strategy is the solution. What am I going to do to fix this problem? What action am I taking? It's the result that we want. The thing is, though, most people try to create a breakthrough in the wrong order of strategy, story, state. It's like, when I do this, then I'll be successful and then I'll feel good enough. And so it's like the have, do, be model versus be, do, have. And so that's the wrong order and doesn't actually create a breakthrough, because we're like, okay, I'll take action when I'm motivated, kind of thing, or we're waiting to take action or waiting for circumstances to change. But we have these stories and these states that are actually keeping us from taking action. And so you probably realize today, your state of mind, your physiology, how you're feeling in your body, the stories you're holding in your head are also going to influence, are you going to take action or not? And I think that's also a great experience. Like the EFT really showed you how the state and the words are really affecting you and being able to take action or not. And so this is where we work with NLP and subconscious reprogramming. And inside of my programs, we work on your state, your story. And then, of course, we combine that with the strategy. But that's not the first thing we look at, because this is where it's like, yeah, you need to do this. How many times have you been told to do something, or you need to do something, but you don't do it, right? So this is where we want to start with state, story, and then strategy. So I want to get into a visualization today. We're going to do a bit of breath work and a little bit of visualization before I share a little bit about how, if you want to continue this journey and dive deeper, but we're going to be doing some breathing and then some meditation. So if you are driving, if you're distracted, this would be something I would come back to later. Please do this if you're sitting or lying down and you don't need to be, alert, like you're safe, because you will be closing your eyes, and yeah, we don't want you running around or standing up. So the first thing I want to mention is your body can't tell the difference between real or imagined. We talked about this. We want to bathe your cells in what you want. Realizing again that the mind does not think in words, it sees images. So using visualization is a powerful technique after the fears are cleared. So you're inspired to move forward, and it tells your subconscious that you're safe. So it's not this contradicting energy like we talked about. The mind projects fear onto the unknown, and the body doesn't know the difference between fantasy and reality. So as you visualize what you want and clear the fears in the way, a little bit of what we've done today, like on a real small level, it gives the subconscious the green light and settles your nervous system. So we really want to tap into what we desire. But of course, if you're like, I'm desiring something, but I can't really feel into it because it feels like BS, then it's like, okay, we need to clear what's in the way and really start to shift that, right? But visualization can be so powerful because, again, the subconscious does not know the difference between real or imagined, and that's its communication method. Its favorite method of communication, it's with imagination, with the visuals, the images, the feelings. So I want you to think about what you desire. It could be something small, it could be something big, whatever feels like, oh yeah, I can feel into that, like that feels good, there's some excitement in my body or some sort of uplifting feeling. Now I want you to think about, what will you see, hear, feel when you have it? Will you hear certain people or saying something, or will you see certain people or places? How will you feel in your body? I want you to think about, are your behavior, thoughts, actions, beliefs aligned with what you want currently? A simple yes or no. Now I want you to think about this desire and this reality. How does the version of you who has what you want, how would they think? What would they believe? How do they show up in the world? What are their habits and actions? Like, this thing just is. And so this is how they're living. How are they living? So I want you to just keep this in mind. I'm going to bring you into a visualization. We're going to be doing some breathing. So I'm going to be guiding you through the breathing, and then I'll be guiding you through a visualization. And so we're going to be doing a triactive breath, or 3-part breath, in through the mouth, out through the mouth. So it's a mouth breathing. And it's going to be 2 parts. So into the belly, into the chest, out through the mouth. So in through the mouth, out through the mouth. You're doing in through the belly, into the chest, out through the mouth. So I'm going to be putting some music on. So you're just going to be going through this breath for about 3 minutes. And if you need to slow it down, you go at your own pace. If you need to take a break, that's fine. Just try to keep with the breath, and then I'll be guiding you into the meditation. So let's get started.
It's just a matter of time before I lose my mind. Before I lose my mind. It's just a matter It's just a matter It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before I lose my mind. Before I lose my mind. It's just a matter of time. Before I lose my mind. 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 It's just a matter of time before I lose my mind. Before I lose my mind. Before I lose my mind. It's just a matter of time before I lose my mind. Before I lose my mind.
Coming into your breath, basking into this energy that this breath has created, brought up for you. Getting in touch with your body, just feeling what's coming up for you. And I want you to now just get in touch with your current situation and how you're feeling about it. As I count from 10 to 1, I want you to slowly, bit by bit, release these feelings and become more relaxed. Letting go of the now just for a few moments. And just be here now. You can come back to this present moment later. Just hit the pause button for now. And let's go on a journey, counting from 10 to 1. With each number, you will feel more and more relaxed. 10. 9. Relaxation coming down now. 8. The top of your head. 7. Down your chest. 6. Down towards your belly. 5. 4. Over your pelvis. Relaxation moving down. 3. Down the thighs. 2. Down the legs. 1. Down to your toes as relaxation envelopes your entire body, your entire being. I want you to zoom forward to 1 year from now. You left this meditation and you continue day by day to think the way you thought, You let the same thoughts run on autopilot. You let them dictate how you feel and what's possible for you. You let these thoughts that have run the show for years and years and years continue to do so. Continue to define who you are, what you're capable of, and how you see the world, what's possible for you. And one more year goes by without doing anything about it. You didn't take new action. You didn't pre-select your thoughts. You didn't question your thoughts or choose new ones. You didn't take any new action or do things that were uncomfortable. You played it safe. You let your emotions take over and control you. You let them define you. You didn't do anything to define your state. You just let the program run. And one whole year has gone by. The same habits, thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. How is your life? What are your relationships? How's your health? How do you feel about your life? About yourself? What opportunities might you have missed? Now let's zoom ahead even more to 5 years from now. The same old program has continued to run, same thoughts, habits, beliefs, behaviors. I'm no good, this isn't possible, I'm not enough, I'll never work, why me, there's nothing I can do. You let them be right. You didn't practice new thoughts, new states, or behaviors. So nothing really changed. You kept running the same program. How does it feel 5 years from now? How's your life? How are your relationships? How's your health? What did you neglect? What did you keep putting off for later? What did you not get to do? Now let's speed up 10 years in the future. The same old program of scarcity, lack, and fear are running the show. Maybe you stayed quiet, maybe you played small, maybe you kept your gifts to yourself, you didn't share them with the world, maybe you kept your passion project and your dreams to yourself, you kept them hidden, maybe you never pursued them, maybe you didn't speak up, maybe you didn't take the action. You kept running by the same limiting thoughts, 10 years later, 10 years old. How do you feel? How's your health as a result? How does that affect your relationships? Your family, your fulfillment, your happiness? What does your life look like now? What experiences did you not get to have? What did you keep saying no to? How does that feel? Now, as I count from 10 to 1, I want you to slowly start to let go of these feelings as you come back to the present day. 10, 9, letting go bit by bit. 8, 7, just letting these feelings float away from your body. 6, floating away. 5, more and more. 4, letting go. 3, 2, and 1. Clearing the screen in front of you, shaking it off. It's all just an illusion. Now we're going to do things differently because it's not 1, 5, or 10 years in the future yet. You can rewrite your future now. Your past doesn't exist here. It's only in your mind that it exists. So who are you? What will you create? I want you to zoom out 1 year from today. You practiced who you were being. You showed up. You were intentional with your thoughts, with who you were being. You paid attention to your habits. You took risks. You took action. You made every day count. You spent your time in the morning selecting your thoughts, practicing feeling how you want to feel, and then you checked in throughout the day. Who am I being? You paid attention to yourself. You didn't just do things the way you always did them. You didn't follow the same old thoughts. You were intentional. You were selective. You were building. You were selective like you select your own clothes in the morning. Selected your thoughts, your intentions. You made a new choice. You were courageous. You allowed yourself to feel into what is possible. You gave yourself permission to dream bigger, to be better, to bet on yourself. You chose to see and believe that things are working out for you, that the universe is loving and abundant, and that you are the co-creator of your life. So you showed up that way. You practiced thinking thoughts that changed your vibration. You believe that you have gifts and you have so much to give to the world, and that your desires were put in your heart for a reason. And you changed your vibration. It changed the way you felt, you thought, and showed up. What is your life like now, a year from now? What does that feel like? How do you feel about yourself? How has that changed you? What about your relationships? How did that change the people around you? Who's in your life now? How are your relationships? What experiences do you have? Now I want you to go 5 years into the future. You practiced, you kept getting better, you kept building on the day before, you never gave up, you kept going, you got better and better and better. You grew by 1% every single day. You never quit, you compounded this energy into a habit, into a way of being. You get up feeling excited about your day, about the possibilities and experiences that could happen. You're grateful to be here. You see things differently, as so much more than you ever thought. You see farther than before, as if what was impossible is now possible. You're in flow, you're unattached, you're having fun, you're enjoying life. You're following your intuition. And life is leading you to magic synchronicities you could never have planned. Where did life take you? What unfolded? Who did you get to meet? Who have you been able to become? What have you created? What is in your world? What does it feel like to be you? Now I want you to go 10 years into the future. It's been 10 years of the build. Your life is so different because you decided to take the first step and the second and the third, and you never quit, you never gave up. And one step led to the next, and life kept unfolding in magical ways beyond your imagination, beyond your dreams. Now I want you to picture yourself standing in your home, your dream home. You envision this. You love what you see. You love how it feels to live here. You love what you created. You can't believe what you created, but you're here. It's real. You look out the front window and you see your loved ones. You see the family and friends that you attracted, that you created, that you nurtured. And now you see a person joining them with flowers. A person who wants to thank you for what you gave them, what you brought to the world, how you impacted their life, for your energy, your heart, your inspiration. And then another person shows up with flowers, and another, and another. And soon enough, your entire front lawn is filled with people who your life touched. Just for being you, for being brave enough to be your authentic self, for giving with your heart. And now more people arrive. The driveway is full, the street is full, the entire neighborhood is full of people wanting to thank you. When you take a deep breath in and just feel into that, feeling the compounded effect of choosing you, choosing your life, choosing your heart, choosing your soul, instead of choosing ego, fear, scarcity, lack. You chose to be bigger. You chose more, and it created a ripple effect. You didn't just choose you chose life, you chose to trust in life, chose to show up, and your heart and soul touched others by deciding to take that first step. How does it feel in your body? I want you to amplify this feeling in your body as if it's electrifying, pulsing through your veins from your head to your toes. And I want you to imagine a ring of power in front of you as a circle about 2 feet in diameter, making the ring vivid and potent. I want you to feel these feelings amplifying in your body, taking over your entire being, and watching yourself step into the ring, amplifying this feeling as you do and expanding it as if it's exploding inside of your body, spreading into every area of your body. Feeling yourself stepping into and embodying this version of you. How does she feel? Now stepping out of the ring, taking a deep breath in and just anchoring this feeling into your body, into this moment. And as I count down from 10 to 1, I want you to hold on to these feelings, bring them and your vision back to the present day. With each number, you feel the vision, your state of being calibrating into each cell of your body, translating into your DNA, into your being. 10, 9, 8, Feeling these feelings anchoring into your body. 7, starting to feel your body in the present moment. 6, be moving your toes, your fingers. 5, breathing in. 4, feeling the presence of the room. 3, stretching your body if that feels good. 2, and 1, coming back into the room, feeling wonderfully refreshed and awake. Beautiful work, everybody. Get back to the presentation. Welcome back. How was that? Let me know how that was for you, if you're able to experience any shifts. I feel so light and free. Yeah, breathwork can definitely do that for you. So that was a short one. Usually I do longer ones with my clients, but for the purpose of this masterclass, I want to keep it as short and sweet as possible, but still short. Breath work can literally shift your state so quickly. I do this about every single day, and it's just such a powerful technique. It's free, it's easy, and it can really shift your entire physiology. Like we talked about, that's such an important part. So I know we're going a little bit over time. Yeah, I love breath work too. So I just want to thank you before I thank you again, but I want to thank you for joining us. But I want to let you know, if this feels complete, feel free to hop off if you need to go. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you got a lot out of it. And I'd love to hear from you if you did. But if you want to learn how to continue this journey with me, if you feel like you really want to go deeper into this, feel like this is really resonating, then I'd love to chat a little bit about how you can do that. So the Rising Woman is my signature 4-month program. And this is really about this internal shift, because we talked about there's so many things we can do externally. And the thing is, we really do need to look at what's going on internally to create long-lasting shifts externally. And that really has a big focus on who are we being, like we talked about today. So basically today was just like a taste of what is inside of this program. So it's a 16-week holistic healing and transformational journey for the ambitious woman going through her own awakening, who wants to lead herself powerfully to the next level of our heart and soul are craving. It's an invitation to step into your power as a woman, reignite your confidence from within, feel aligned, healthy, and at peace in mind, body, and soul. So maybe you're an empath who's been prioritizing others over your own self-care and your desires. You might be feeling burnt out, overwhelmed, anxious from constantly being on this hamster wheel of your life, neglecting your own needs, your own, self-care, your desire, all of that. Maybe you're going on your own spiritual and personal development journey, discovering who you really are. You're committed to your expansion and growth in order to pave a new path for yourself and live in a way that lights your soul on fire. You don't want to follow the shoulds anymore and the things that you've done in the past that just were not aligned. You really want to create a life that is completely aligned with who you want to be and what's in your heart. Maybe you feel like you don't fit in, or that no one gets you, or you're going through a pivot or an identity crisis or the void or ego death, and you're really wanting to discover who you really are underneath all the programming, the conditioning, and you're ready to break the box to finally live your truth, and you want some support within that journey. Maybe you're tired of experiencing symptoms like anxiety, emotional eating, procrastinating, menstrual issues that get in the way of living your life to the fullest. Maybe you're getting lost in the affirmations, the books, the meditations, but it just doesn't seem to make a difference. You're fluctuating maybe between feeling like too much or not enough. You're struggling to really live as your most authentic self and bring that self to the world in case people don't approve. You're constantly nitpicking your body and beating yourself up when you really want to establish an intuitive, trusting, and peaceful relationship with yourself and your body. Maybe you're feeling consumed by your emotions, so you suppress, numb, or avoid them with things like food, other coping mechanisms. You feel like your emotions control you and dictate what you do and how you show up. Maybe you feel like fear, scarcity, and the underlying feeling of insecurity keep you settling for what doesn't actually feel aligned in your life. Some clients' feedback from the program. Juliet, since working with Laurence, we worked to shift my mindset on lifelong beliefs that were no longer serving my personal and professional life. Even better, my family, friends, and work colleagues have noticed a difference in the way that I show up. whether in person or virtually, this is the most self-assured and in tune with my body that I've ever felt. And so this was not, we had a big focus on health for her, but as you can see, it showed up in other areas of her life. Like she moved, she got raised, she shifted her relationship, and also things changed at her job. So this is where it doesn't just stay in one category of your life because it's holistic. Ashley, physically, my stomach area is a lot thinner. Mentally and emotionally, I'm much stronger in myself and more clear with my emotions and thoughts. I really don't feel depressed or incapable anymore. I'm able to not blame myself or carry the weight of everyone else's problems. I really realize that I have never done things for myself, always for others. I have more energy, but more importantly, I have more life in me. My soul has awakened and wants to breathe again. It wants life and to experience everything it can. Just such a beautiful testimonial and testimony to the work that she put in during this program, and that really affected so many areas of her life. So really proud of all of my clients. And the last one I believe I want to share was Nicole. I didn't know exactly how things would land by the end of the program, but it was better than I could have even imagined. I feel awake. I've given myself the permission to finally be myself. I feel safe doing it. I feel so much trust in myself and my intuition, which has boosted my self-confidence and love I feel for myself. Social situations, I would abandon myself and be whatever palatable version of myself I need to be for other people. Now I feel unapologetic about who I am, and I'm showing up differently, and people are noticing. Some of the challenges I was working on in my inner world, I thought would take forever to work through, but with Laurence's knowledge and various tools, I was able to work through years of shadows within my time working with her. I feel like I've woken up and I'm existing in my most authentic state. So these are all some clients who were in the program, and it was really about this complete holistic approach, right? And stopping the people pleasing and doing everything that we think we should, and things that are just not making us happy, and really being able to be truly ourselves, and developing that greater self-love for ourselves as well. So it's time to stop waiting for your circumstances to change, for other people to change in order to finally be happy and feel good enough, and start from the inside out. So you never have to depend on anything outside of yourself to feel whole and worthy again, because that's an inside job. Stop the repeating shame cycles towards yourself. Start to feel at peace in your body, feel comfortable in your own skin and confident. Stop feeling paralyzed by your emotions that make you turn to mechanisms like food to self-soothe, and start to regulate yourself so that you are no longer triggered to eat emotionally. Stop waiting to be fixed in order to be happy, and start celebrating and enjoying your body and your life now. Stop exhausting yourself fighting a mental war in your head and against your body, and tap into the peace and vitality that already exists within. Stop feeling victimized by your genes, your past, your circumstances, or your diagnosis, and start deciding who you will be now, moving forward and matching that with the actions you know you need to take. Stop operating from conditioning and past stories that are limiting, self-defeating, and start living your life in a way that feels more true, authentic, and fulfilling to you. Stop feeling overwhelmed by all of the opinions and information out there that leave you feeling paralyzed, procrastinating, and start making decisions and taking actions that are intuitively aligned and that are actually going to make a difference for you. When you join me inside the Rising Woman, you get access to 16 coaching calls. So it's 14 months. It's 4 months weekly calls. And so these are going to be obviously personal to you, but there is a process that we go through in order to help you move through those limiting beliefs that might be coming up, like the inner child healing, any of like the energetics like that might be feeling stuck in your body, and so that we can start to release that, start to get connected to your higher self, your vision, your dreams, and really start to help you to heal on a holistic level, transform and release any resistance in the way to what you actually want to experience. So we have these calls together, the Rising Woman process. So this is with my calls as well as the online course, which I'll talk about. Quantum breakthrough sessions are included. So you get like NLP, hypnosis, breath work, energetic healing, all of these things to help with what we were talking about today on an energetic level, on a subconscious level, to release and reprogram and rewire, help you feel safe and really connected to yourself, and really connected again to like what you want and aligned with that, aligned mind, body, and soul. You get access to the Rising Woman course. So this is like your whole database of things around how to nourish yourself, how to rewire your mind, regulate your nervous system, stress management, so much more. There's like downloads, video guides, audio guides, everything you need is here for you, and you have lifetime access to that. And then strategy and support plan, so includes recommendations around your lifestyle, mindset, etc., for whole body wellness to help you reach your personal goal. So message me if you're feeling the pull. If you'd like to chat about next steps, you can access all of the information on my website. I didn't want to go too deep with this right now. I want to respect your time, but if you want to go deep into it, there's a whole page on my website where you can see all of the details and all of that. And it's an application program. So all you have to do is apply, and I'll be in touch with you. And I'm going to leave it there. If there's anything anybody wants to share, any last thoughts, questions, let me know. You can unmute yourself or put in the chat. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. And I really appreciate your time. I hope that you got something out of this. And if you want to connect, share what came up for you, chat more, please do so. I'd love to chat. Instagram, email, wherever you found me is perfect.